Okay, my name is Anastasia Khudakova, and I'm one of the coordinators of the project Appreciating Diversity. The project was launched by three English Language Teachers Associations, TUELTER, Tula English Language Teachers Association, IMELE, English Language Teachers Association, and the Association of Euro. It is also supported by the National English Teachers Association of Russia. So today, I would like to overview the project goals, opportunities, and activities. And I will try to explain why we decided to launch this project in Russia. So I'll speak about the needs and the reason, the rationale. I hope we won't have any problems with video, and I would like to show you some sample student projects. And I will speak a little bit about using images and video to teach cultural diversity. So I hope everybody hears me well, and you have adjusted the sound at your computer, and you can see me as well. I see that somebody has problems with sound, so I hope you have adjusted the sound at your computer. So let's go back a little bit and speak about the history of this project, how it all started. The first local project was launched in Tula that was called Bringing English Teachers Together to Promote Tolerance in the Language Classroom. It was done by teachers in Tula region in 2011-2012, and the result of the project was book, State Exam Preparation for Teaching Tolerance. So the topics that were covered in the book included stereotypes, the idea of tolerance, cultural diversity, and it was prepared in the form of the test to prepare for state exam. And the idea was that teachers need to prepare for state exam. That's why they can use the book in their teaching practice in class. And then the national project was launched by the English language community in Russia in 2013-2014, and more cities joined the project, such as Irkutsk, Yaroslavl, Yekaterinburg, Himalaya, Chelyabinsk, and Voronezh. And fostering tolerance and cultural awareness through English language teaching project finished, but we didn't manage to do what we wanted completely. So another national project that is called Appreciating Diversity was launched to fill in the gap. So where do you think the gap is? Please write your answers in the chat. So there were three topic areas that Fostering Tolerance and Cultural Awareness project was focused on. So the teachers developed lesson plans in three subject areas. And this is life in society, the idea of otherness at school, in the media, in the family, different abilities, cultures and traditions, ethnicities, ethnic groups of Russia, diversity of languages and cultures, holidays, including religious ones, tales and legends, and conflict resolution topics, including bullying. So please write in your chat boxes what topic area was not covered successfully enough within the previous national project for tolerance and cultural awareness. I didn't see any responses, so I'm wondering if you hear me well. I would like you to choose one of the three subject areas that the present project focuses on to fill in the gap. Life in society, cultures and traditions, conflict resolution, 1, 2, or 3. Please write in your chat boxes. Great, I see one answer. I would like to see more answers if people hear me. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Nastya. Nastya thinks that it's conflict resolution. Oh, great, I see a lot of responses. 2, 3. So we don't have response there. So you don't think that life in society was not covered, but somebody thinks that conflict resolution was not covered. Well, if you think about the topic of the project, appreciating diversity, so it should be two, cultures and traditions. Well, actually, when we started to research the materials that are already available in English, there are a lot of materials that are devoted to conflict resolution. For example, American Institute of Peace developed a toolkit for educators, peace building toolkit for middle school and for high school that is specifically focused on conflict resolution. Tamara writes that she didn't know about the project. Well, we tried to make it as public as possible, but you can still see the results of the Diverse Russia website. And actually, the previous project is continued. So now you know about the project at the beginning, which is good. So now you see that Appreciating Diversity project, well, which is going to take place this academic year, is focused on the topics such as cultures and traditions, ethnic groups of Russia, diversity of languages and cultures, holidays, including religious ones, tales, and legends. The project goals are to develop teaching materials and digital content to teach ethnic and cultural diversity of Russia through English language classes, create a website and upload the materials there. And we would like to have different formats to suit different students' needs, including lessons in iBooks, author formats, which are textbooks for iPad, and also regular lessons in PowerPoint, for example, video format. One of our goals is to conduct teacher training workshops online and face-to-face. Actually, I've just come back from the workshop in Astrakhan. It took place on Thanksgiving Day on November 27th. And well, the major goal, so to say, all the material development and teacher training workshops are focused to develop a positive image of Russia internationally and empower students with the necessary skills to be cultural ambassadors in the global world. As a result, we would like to create awareness of the necessity to teach ethnic and cultural diversity in Russia during English language classes. And we hope that our overworked teachers will have ready materials to use in their classroom that will be free to download from the website. And we hope to conduct 7 workshops. Students' projects appreciating diversity. Some of them already took place, some of them are going to take place next semester. And we hope that these activities will help to create a positive image of Russia internationally and will help our students represent Russian culture in the global world. There are more than 50 English language teachers associations across Russia, and we hope that these associations will help to um, distribute the materials among the teaching communities in different regions of Russia. And of course, anybody who will access the website will have educational materials to teach about diversity in Russia, different cultures and traditions. So let's talk a little bit about the website that was mentioned. This website is already available, diverserussia.ru, but the materials will be uploaded gradually. So far, we have developed some pages like project activities, diverse Russia teaching tips, diversity through respect. Diversity through respect, that's where we plan to upload lesson plans that were developed within the previous project, teaching tolerance and creating cultural awareness. Diverse Russia, that's where we plan to upload materials about Russia in general, not specifically about any region of Russia. But actually, after completion, we would like to have links from the website to different regions, to the pages that will be devoted to different regions. And at these pages, regional topics will be listed and lesson summaries will be given. And from this lesson summaries, the teachers will have links to download lesson plans and ready materials. So this is how the website entry page looks like, a welcoming page. So if you're an LLC professional or a future LLC professional, you can collaborate in developing teacher resources for teaching cultural diversity in Russia at any level of education. You can learn to create innovative teaching resources, including those in the iBooks Author digital platform. We will have workshops during the webinar series specifically devoted to iBooks Author platform. You can take part in project contests and help organize them, and get certificate of publication if your work is accepted for the Diverse Russia website. Oh, welcome, Zuriat. Zuriat is one of our speakers. I'm happy you were able to connect. So let's speak about the rationale. Why do we need to teach cultural diversity in foreign language classes? Well, do you have any ideas? Please write your ideas in the chat. Why do we need to teach cultural diversity in foreign language classes? Tony Howe, great to see you here. Tony is also one of our future speakers. So please write your ideas in the chat. Why do we need to teach cultural diversity in foreign language classes? Because pupils don't really appreciate Russian culture, Svetlana Alexeyeva writes. Anna Shilina writes that we live in the 21st century and it is important to understand that we're all different but live together. Melissa writes that there are many cultures represented in Russia. Anna Dudina writes that we need to respect other nationalities. Well, thank you all. Svetlana Alexeyeva writes that globalization makes us forget about our special features. Lyudmila writes that we need to enable successful intercultural communication. Valeria writes that we are living in a multicultural society. Great. To avoid aggressiveness and bullying. Okay, thank you. So the first reason is to develop integrated skills, actually. We have an opportunity in English language classes. Students read a lot. They speak a lot. That we use dialogues, discussions as form of teaching, presentations, group work. So there are many opportunities for us as teachers of foreign language to raise cultural awareness and weave in cultural diversity issues. The second reason is demand. Students are aware of differences, the other from an early age, and they need to know how to deal with it and learn to appreciate diversity. In the global world, we need to be aware of culture and language diversity and be tolerant, Tamara writes. And each individual is unique, Nadia writes. And of course, in Russia, we have federal education standards. So I'll speak a little bit about federal education standards. And actually, our main educational document tells us as teachers that we need to deal with these issues of cultural diversity in our classroom. And also, I will give an overview of teacher survey. So the federal education standards in Russia are based on system and activity approach, which in elementary school presupposes developing a child's personality in accordance with the demands of an information society, an innovative economy, building a democratic civil society on the basis of tolerance, intercultural dialogue, and respecting the multinational, multicultural, multi-religious Russian society. This is translation from Federal Education Standard that you can find on the official website of the Ministry of Education of Russia. If we look at the personal results of foreign language education for primary school, we can see that friendly attitude and respectful attitude to other opinion, history, and culture of different people is one of our aims. Also, understanding of ethnic and national identity and developing values of multinational Russian society are one of the personal results, among the personal results that we should aim in our teaching practice to develop. If you look at the subject result for foreign language in primary school, you can see that in foreign language classes, we should develop friendly and tolerant attitude to speakers of other languages. Personal results for middle school include awareness of Russian identity in the multicultural society. So this is all taken from Federal Education Standards, from the main official document that our teachers should correspond. Federal Standards for middle school, among subject results for foreign language, places first forming tolerant and friendly attitude to values of other cultures. So this is the first result that we should aim as teachers of foreign languages at. And among subject results of foreign language in high school, we have foreign language competence as a means of intercultural communication in the modern multicultural world. So if you look at the federal standards more attentively, you can realize that this is one of our aims as teachers of foreign languages. But to develop English language competence as an instrument of intercultural communication, we should approach teaching English in the international sense. So we should teach English as a global language. And that means that our students should learn about other international cultures, should learn to express their own culture in English. And in that way, they will acquire important 21st century skill, which is communication across cultures or intercultural communication. Thus, we should have dual syllabus. On the one hand, language teaching, including 4 skills such as reading, writing, speaking, listening. On the other hand, global education issues, developing knowledge, skills, forming attitudes, and calling for actions to solve world problems. We should discuss world themes and world regions. If we look at this dual syllabus from the Russian perspective and from the perspective of our federal education standards, we have diverse Russia teaching issues. So we should speak about Russian region in English lessons, Russian themes, Russian problems, along with developing language skills such as reading, writing, speaking, and listening. I would like to quote Елена Николаевна Соловова. She writes that socio-cultural competence is based on the ability to decently express your own culture in a foreign language, rather than on readiness to speak about the culture of a target language. Barry Tomalin, speaking in his article, which he called Culture, the Fifth Language Skill, divides different areas of cultural knowledge. So how can we teach culture in English language classes? So this teaching culture perspective should include cultural knowledge, or the knowledge of the culture's institutions, so-called the Big C. Cultural values, which is the psyche of the country, what people think is important. And it includes things like family, hospitality, patriotism, fairness, and many other things. Cultural behavior or so-called the little C. This is the knowledge of daily routines and behavior. And cultural skills, which is the development of intercultural sensitivity and awareness, using English language as a medium of interaction. Also, Barry Tomalin raises a lot of questions about teaching culture, such as question about cultural curriculum, does it exist? Or the question about the time when we should introduce teaching of culture, whose culture should we be teaching, and what should we teach at what level? How do materials address the issue of culture, and is it adequate? What are the best audio, text, and visual aids for teaching culture? What kind of methodology is best suited to the teaching of culture at different levels? What kinds of activities lend themselves to learning about and appreciating other cultures? So these are questions that are open to discussion. Actually, there are no right or wrong answers. There are multiple answers, diverse answers. And we can share the best practices. So to speak about the question of materials, teaching materials that we use, how do they address the issue of culture? And is it adequate? Елена Николаевна Соловova gives her scheme for deciding. So first, you as teachers should define problems for discussion within a certain topic. Then you should define students' background knowledge, language level, psychological peculiarities. Study textbooks and decide which problems are covered in the textbooks and which are not. And after that, choose additional materials considering teachers' load, students' interest, and motivational aspects. Analyzing the federal education standards and trying to find the subject place of foreign language, Елена Николаевна Соловova developed different blocks of topics that can be discussed in foreign language curriculum. So the first is home country and its development. There are two parts of this block, geography and history. And geography includes peoples living in Russia, and history includes ethnic languages, ethnic and religious holidays. The second block is understanding differences between nationality and ethnicity. So the knowledge of the peoples and ethnic groups, their cultures and traditions. The third block includes system of moral values and norms, and understanding of the conventional character of such norms, including religious and secular norms. The fourth block is understanding of the country's contribution towards culture and civilization. And the fifth is environmental issues and sustainable development. So to give example, how, for example, the topic traveling can be used in foreign language to form national values, we can take two blocks. The second one, understanding differences between nationality and ethnicity, and the third one, and define the problems that can be discussed in class. So in the second block, understanding differences between nationality and ethnicity, we can define such problems as awareness of peoples and ethnic groups living in the country, understanding of their culture and tradition, understanding of their unity in terms of one state. And within the second block, understanding differences between nationality and ethnicity, within the subject areas or the problem areas that we defined, these questions can be raised and discussed in classes. What peoples live in Russia? Where do they live? When did they become part of Russia? What may interest tourists in ethnic cultures of Russia? What region of Russia would you like to visit? Why? What type of tourism would you choose? Sightseeing, active sports, ecological, religious, industrial, or health improving? Within the third block, within the topic of traveling, such questions can be raised as, should tourists get special preparation before visiting other countries or regions? And also we can give students such tasks as writing guidelines for tourists on what they can and cannot do in other countries or in other regions of Russia due to its cultural and historical peculiarities, moral norms, and values. So let's look at the samples of some cultural curriculum or cultural syllabus. When we worked on the Tolerance project, we came across this intercultural resource pack that was developed with the help of the British Council in Latin America. The teachers in Latin America developed materials specifically aimed for that region to promote intercultural competence and awareness in English language teaching classrooms. And the aim is to help students and teachers understand and learn about their own culture and to become aware of other cultures. The teachers write that this is a growing trend in the English language teachers locally and globally. If you look at this resource in more detail, and it's freely downloadable from the website, it includes 4 major blocks: learner as ethnographer, cultural values and attitudes, challenging stereotypes, and critical readings of culture. Another culturally focused curriculum that I would like to mention here is the textbook Tolerance Through Languages. That was a Russian-based project, and we have one of our authors, Zuriat Murtazova. She's going to speak about this textbook in detail in one of the webinars. So this textbook was developed for high school students, and it's region-specific. Teachers from the 4 regions of Russia, from 3 republics, Kabardino-Balkaria, Ingushetia, Northern Ossetia, and from the city of Sochi, cooperated on developing this cultural curriculum. They had support from the consultants of the UK, and the goal of this textbook project was to raise students' awareness of their own culture and increase understanding of other cultures, as well as to develop critical thinking, reflection, presentation, and research skills of students through this textbook, through using this textbook. It has 9 units: language as a tool for understanding, regions and people, making culture real, communication, me and others, rights and responsibilities, local versus global, conflict resolution, and your future lies in your hands. So you can see that it encompasses human rights, basics of human rights education, problems of globalization, conflict resolution issues, interpersonal communication, and a lot of cultural material. One of the managers of this project, Yelena Borovikova from British Council, writes in her article, Capacity Building via Textbook Project, that among the conclusions of the project, she found out that practicing school teachers are potential material developers, and ELT can serve a good basis for multicultural and cross-cultural education. So I think this is relevant for our project, that all future teachers can be potential material development, and we all can work to develop this growing strand and ELT locally and globally. Well, Nadezhda asks if it's possible to find the book in the net. No, it's not possible, but you can write to Lena Borovikova and you can order the book. It's also not possible to buy this book, but we have it in our university. We have it. So if you're from Tula State Pedagogical University, you can come up to the department and have a look at the textbook. If you look at the multicultural context of that region, it's clearly understandable why this culturally responsive curriculum should be developed. In the Republic of Dagestan, there are so many different languages and so many different ethnic groups. But the question is, do we need to extend it to the whole of Russia? So now I will ask you questions in the poll, and please answer the question. So I'm asking you two questions to answer in the poll. Do your students realize how diverse Russia is? And do you raise the issues of cultural diversity in your classroom? So please answer two questions in the poll. Do you often raise the issues of cultural diversity? Sometimes, seldom, or never? And do your students realize how diverse Russia is? Please answer the questions in the chat. Not in the chat, in the poll, I'm sorry. Well, the majority of participants think that their students realize how diverse Russia is. 36% say that they sometimes raise the issues of cultural diversity in their classroom. Please choose the answers in the poll. I will wait a little bit for more people to vote to answer the survey question. So please don't write in the chat. Please choose the questions in the poll. Irina writes that students realize how diverse Russia is, but they think about it so rarely. Yeah, I think that's true. Like in Tula region, there are 95% of Russians. And it's hard to imagine that there are people who live in different houses who have completely different traditions. Okay, so the 50%, half of the participants say that they raise issues of cultural diversity in their classrooms sometimes, or 51%. 43% of the participants say that their students realize how diverse Russia is. So now quitting the poll. So I'm glad that the majority of our speak about issues of cultural diversity. Okay, now I will ask you to answer some more questions. So we conducted the poll for what's going on. Okay. I have the results of the survey available. I'll try to show them to all of you. Can you see the results of the survey? Yulia Sergaeva writes that they did a survey multicultural me not long ago with their students at the Herzen University in St. Petersburg. And it was interesting to know what they think about all this. Yeah, it's interesting to know. Maybe you will share it with us, Yulia. And these were the questions that we asked. We had a lot of questions, including tolerance. But now I would like to share with you some of the results of the teacher survey. and the questions that concern diversity issues. So we asked such questions as, do you teach students of different nationalities? Have you ever witnessed conflicts based on religious and national differences in your school? Do you know about activities in your schools reflecting cultural and national traditions of minorities? Is culture and language of indigenous ethnic communities taught in your school? If so, what is the level of such lessons? And how do other students react to such lessons? So now I will ask you to answer this question. So we'll do a poll again. Do you teach students of different nationalities? Yes or no? So please answer in the poll. Have you ever witnessed conflicts based on religious and national differences in your school? Never, yes, often, or yes, rarely. Do you know about activities in your schools reflecting cultural and national traditions of minorities? Yes or no? Is culture and language of indigenous ethnic communities taught in your school? Yes, but the level is poor. No, yes, and the level is good. Please answer the questions in the poll, not in the chat box. Otherwise, I won't have your results. Yeah, Yulia, please share the results in the Facebook group. That will be great. Thank you so much. Almost half of the participants finished the poll, so please answer the question in the poll. Svetlana writes that athletes were usually very intolerant to Christians. "44 participants finished the poll. On the question, do you teach students of different nationality? We have more yes, 49% yes. Have you ever witnessed conflicts based on religious and national differences in your school? We have no, never, 41%, yes, rarely, 38%, and 7% say often. So more people witness conflict. On the question, do you know about activities in your schools reflecting cultural and national traditions of minorities? The majority, 43%, answered no, they don't know about that. Christians to Muslims, am I right? Culture and language of indigenous ethnic communities is it taught in your school? We have the majority, 40% say no, 31% say that the level is poor. Okay, almost all the 56 participants out of 66 finished. Okay, 57 participants finished, so I'm closing the poll now. Well, thank you so much for sharing and entering your answers into the poll. Now it will be more interesting for you to know the results that we got serving Russian teachers across the whole country. So this survey took place in November, April in November 2013, April 2014. And approximately 300 teachers from different regions of Russia, they said that students of different nationalities, there are students of different nationalities in their school, the majority said so, 84%. 22% witnessed conflicts based on religious and national differences in their schools. 63% said that they don't know about any activities in their schools reflecting cultural and national traditions of minorities. And most representatives of national minorities do not use their native language in school, that's 41% said, or seldom use it. 58% said that culture and language of indigenous ethnic communities is taught in their school, but 24% said that such lessons are below average, though 42% of participants said that such lessons are above average level. And almost half, 46%, said that their students positively react to such lessons. And 43% said that their students are indifferent. So let's go back to the project, Appreciating Diversity, and look at the project timeline. The webinars will be going on through December and January, so we shifted a little bit the project timeline. If you want to develop materials, you can always consult us. There will be individual consultations for material development. Or I have the results of survey. Let me close that. And the materials will be uploaded to the project website early next year. In April 2015, there is National English Teachers Conference in Yekaterinburg, and we plan to present some results on that conference. So let's speak about one of the project activities, which is the national contest, Welcome to My Homeland. So the goal of this contest is to teach students present their home region and to form a positive image of Russia. The deadline for all Russian national stage is December 15th. Actually, the deadline for regional step was December the 1st. So you have still some time. I know that in Tula we received a lot of work. The results of this contest will be announced in March, April. And there are 3 forms: presentation, video, and poster. We have a lot of categories from elementary school to universities, and we have a separate category for access students, which is a program of English, of teaching English to kids from low-income families. There are 5 criteria that the juries will use, such as thematic relevance, creative approach, language level, artistic level, technical level. And all the participants will get certificates of participation, and winners will get good prizes. So if you want to learn more information about the contest, go to the website Diverse Russia.ru and download full guidelines in project materials and project activities. We have regional partners in different regions of Russia, from Tula to Vladivostok. And this is the project email address, diverserussia@gmail.com, and the website, diverserussia.ru. We also have an official Facebook group that is called Appreciating Diversity, where you can share your thoughts, write your ideas. We will also post materials of the contest in the Facebook group, and the best videos and presentations will be uploaded to the website. Yes, Angelica asked if there are categories for teachers. Yes, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that. There is a special category for teachers, so teachers can participate without students if they like. There is another project contest which is organized by the Ural State Pedagogical University and ELTA Urals Association. That is the 10th National Contest of Research and Creative Projects in English for school and college students. The deadline for this project is February 15th, 2015. And we have the full guidelines in our Facebook group, Appreciating Diversity. You can download the information, the full information from there, or you can contact the organizers by email, project contest 2015 mail.ru. Well, now I would like to share some of the results of the national contest in Tula, of the regional contest, sorry. We'll watch a film, a short film clip made by high school students of Tula Lyceum. While you watch the film, please think about these questions and answer in the chat box. What language skills did the students use to complete the project? What are the benefits of projects like this? And are there difficulties? So benefits, difficulties, and language skills. Um, you can hear the sound. Can you hear the sound? Welcome everybody. Can you hear me well? hope at least some of you were able to see and listen. Anya writes that we can learn some facts about Tula. It provides short and interesting and useful information. Technical problems with recording. Yeah, there was background noise. There were some parts where the recording was not very good, but in general it's well done. Maria writes that it's really exciting and it isn't boring for foreigners. But let's focus on the questions. So what language skills did the students use? Somebody said that they speak fluently. Yes, but they should have practiced a lot before recording. They show how they really love Tula, or maybe they learned and even they started to love Tula even more after doing this video and after getting to know about some of the most interesting parts of Tula they help teach you. Speaking skills. Yes, of course they practice their speaking skills and they need to rehearse before recording. And actually, if you follow this video on YouTube, and there is a link to the YouTube, they also have bloopers video where they show how many times they try to record each part of it. Yes, it's prepared speech, speaking skills. Yes, they did research. They did preliminary research. They worked in a team, actually. They distributed roles. They prepared part of it. They coordinated their work. And Ludmila writes that students had a great chance to combine their language skills, public speaking skills, technical skills, editing the video. Yes, so that's developing computer literacy, ICT skills as well. Difficulties, Ilya writes about difficulties, recording while shooting the video not separately. They have Russian accents. Well, we all have Russian accents, but that's fine. Monologue and dialogue. As a practice monologue and dialogue. Where is dialogue, I wonder? Okay, let's speak to their audience. Anya writes that it's useful, interesting, rather short and informative. It's a great learning tool. Evgenia writes that this kind of activity motivates them to learn English. Okay, thank you so much for your answers and for your participation. So some of the challenges of such projects as we experienced it through our Tula, Andy writes, I found that many students worldwide do not know how to speak of their own cities. That's right, Andy. So that's the problem that we are trying to solve with this project. And this project forced them to learn about their own city. Yeah, they'll be able to speak about it. Or so many answers. I will read some other answers before going on. The students look pretty happy about what they're doing. Yeah, they enjoyed it. They practice their English outside the classroom. That's good. Students develop their language skills through such wonderful projects and also learn more about their city and they're able to speak about it. Public speaking skills, technology skills. And Tamara said that she was in Tula and it's nice to see it again. Yeah, Tula has changed a lot since 1970s. Okay, it's motivating. So, well, actually, when we did this project, we found that one of the challenges is to be original. Because, well, if you speak about Tula, the sites sometimes are repeated and students choose the same sites because they're most prominent. But I liked one work very much that was a PowerPoint presentation from one of the girls from Yefremov, which is a small town in Tula region. So she made a presentation about a river. which is named Красивая Mecha, or Beautiful Mecha. And she made a great presentation, and she connected it to her hometown because once it was called Красивая Mecha, so it was called in honor of the river. She writes about legends connected with this river. She found out the source for the name, that's the Udmurt word mech, which means steep, and the river is the banks of the river are really steep. One of the legends that she mentioned is that people believe that the river got its name after the battle of the epic hero with she-bear, and in ancient Russian, she-bear means mechka. And another legend that she mentions is that after defeat in Kulikova field, Mamai wanted to cross Krasivaya Mecha, but dropped his beautiful sword into the river. And the sword was decorated with rubies and diamonds, and the sword fell into the water, and people tried to find it but failed. And since that time, the river is called Beautiful Nature or Красивая Nature. So one of the challenges to be original. Another challenge is translation. Sometimes we don't know how to translate our own realia into English. Well, for example, if you look пряник, there are at least 3 ways: gingerbread, sweet cake, and honey cake. Sometimes we call it Tula honey cake, sometimes we call it Tula gingerbread. The student whose video you watched called it gingerbread, but if you try gingerbread in Europe, for example, you realize that it's quite different. That's dry, but Tula honey cake, it's soft. It's not very soft, but it's softer than gingerbread, and it doesn't have the ginger taste. Another example is the word поместье, or estate. There are a lot of different estates of famous people in Tula region, including Yasna Polyana, which is Tolstoy's estate. But some of my students use the word farmstead for the estate. But farmstead is quite different. It has animals and it has a farm. When speaking about the monument, yeah, epic hero is Bogatyr. Actually, the other words that you find in the dictionary are athlete or Hercules, but epic hero is the closest. Terminator, no, not Terminator. Nice. Another word that we came across is tea fight or bonfire or tea party. So that's the name for the monument that you saw, tea party. One of the greatest challenge in such work is to learn the text and record it without mistakes. I tried to record the video with my son, who is a second-year student in primary school, and it turned so hard that we had to cut it into sentences because, well, even we tried to record some simple sentences because it's primary school, it should be simple, but still it was hard, and we had to repeat it at least 5 times before we got some good recording. But it's practice, it's meaningful practice, and repetition here is not monotonous. The classes of video projects, they can address learners of different types, visual, audio, kinesthetic learners. They develop critical and creative thinking because students come up with their own solutions, how to present their own thesis, how to share their view with others. That's teamwork, of course, because they work in a group. They have to select it, do research. Then they have to come up together and discuss what they want to include. That's autonomous learning. It's monitored by the teacher, but it's still autonomous learning. And student ownership. So they have the sense of ownership for the work that they did. And that makes them proud of them, and they see the results of their own learning process. I would like to quote the member of the Presidential Human Rights Council and public champion, Nikolai Svanidze. He said that we need to talk about the fact that many people live in Russia. They have different cultures and traditions. They're not alike, but together we constitute one great country that is Russia. And the richer this cultural diversity, the richer our Russian culture is. So let's talk about this fact in our foreign language classroom, about many different peoples and nationalities, ethnicities, cultures, and traditions. But how to do it effectively? How can we talk about that? Any ideas? Please write in the chat. How can we talk about cultural diversity effectively in foreign language classes? Please write your ideas in the chat box. How can we talk about cultural diversity issues effectively in foreign language classes? I'm waiting for your ideas. Projects. Yes, Evgenia writes about projects. More listening and presentations and video projects, teamwork, group work, videos of cultural elements, good examples, interactive way is important, Anastasia writes. Different games, Yana mentions games, role plays, Lyudmila writes about role plays, discussions in groups, critical reading and speaking, Evgenia writes. Inviting a native speaker. Good. Teamwork to create project with video, presentations, projects. Read fairy tales of other people. Great. Thank you, Evgenia. Another way is using images. Yes, somebody mentioned good example. Images can help us. So what can images or pictures or photos help us to do? What images can help us do? Compare. Yes, we can compare using images. We can use images to initiate discussion, to imagine, to develop creative skills. That's what you mean? To learn more about national features, debates, to initiate debates, compare and see how it looks in reality. Right, images are objects of reality. To show local sites, and we can use authentic images to get deeper understanding of the topic. Thank you, Svetlana. Yeah, we can use images to brainstorm ideas, to initiate discussions, to personalize the photos, to show regional cultural diversity, Tatiana writes, to raise awareness, to guess. We can use it for guessing activities, for compare and contrast activity. So I will speak a little bit about different activities that we can use to stimulate speaking with images. One of them is I am the photographer. So we can ask our students to describe feelings, thoughts, or describe the place where they're standing, what they see. We can ask them to imagine retaking the picture from a different focus, from a different angle. What can they see now? Describe and match is another activity. So there can be one image per learner, and learners move around the classroom. And they don't show the pictures to the partner, but they describe it. And if they find a picture that matches their own, so they match with their partner, we can use images to learn, to teach how to write questions using 5W formula. That's why, when, all the most important questions, where, who, and write questions and answer the questions in group. Students can write questions in group, or they can write the questions individually and then answer them in group. We can use such activity as before and after description. So what happened before the picture was taken, or 5 years before it was taken, or after it was taken. And here I would like to share some other results of projects from Yemelia. And the teacher asked the students to translate traditional Naniat proverbs and illustrate them. So you can see some examples of proverbs here and students' illustrations. Our eyes are narrow because our nose are white. Keep your name as high and mighty as a deer keeps his head. You can see it's very traditional. Yeah, I like this picture as well. I also think it's cute. Or this one is the cutest, the illustration. Don't fish out all fish, leave something for your grandchildren. So remember this fifth block, sustainable development and environmental issues that Elena Nikolaevna defined. This proverb illustrates the problem from this block. So we can use images with picture dictation. So there are some people who attempt to draw it by description. They don't have the picture. All the rest are dictating. So they ask them to draw one line or one circle or one square. And it can be done as a class activity. So one person leaves the room and all the rest have pictures. And then the person comes back and each group defines one sentence and one direction what to draw. Or it can be done in groups. There can be activity to practice even grammar with images. If I were there, we can practice prediction. We can show a small section of the image. You can see some small sections of the image that was shown to you previously. And then ask learners to discuss what it would be. Snip or cut up images. We can cut the images and ask students to mingle around the class. And they are again not allowed to show it, but it will be parts of one image. We can create a dialogue based on the picture, on the image. We can ask critical thinking questions. So here I would like to refer to Bloom's taxonomy. There are different steps in this taxonomy, from the less difficult to more difficult. Remembrance, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. So the last three, analysis, such as what could you guess about the woman's life, or synthesis, what might the woman say about her future, or evaluation, what does the picture tell us about life in the north. So these three steps are more cognitively difficult. But if you use pyramid in order, it allows to build up step by step. The first ask easier questions and then go to deeper and more cognitively difficult questions. We can use images to teach vocabulary. We can ask students to label the picture. And then using these words, they can make a quiz for their fellow students. Or they can label and parse. So they label one item in the picture and then they pass the picture and then the next student labels it and parses it around the class. Or it can be brainstorm and categorize activities. The brainstorm words that you can see in the picture, objects or nouns or verbs, different parts of speech. It can be different categories. We can use images to simulate writing captions, for example, writing a story. It can be done in groups. Different genre can be given, such as novel, diary entry, email, a blog item, or even a news report. And dialogue can be also done in writing. Now let's speak quickly about the video. I like this quote about the video, that video is the new textbook offering reality and language modeling like a book never could. So video can be used to set the lesson objective as a form of engagement, as a writing prompt, to write the story or to write about the content of the video. Backdoor activity can be used with the sound off or without. In pairs, one student watches the video and describes it to the other student who has their back to the screen. We can describe one thing, we can stop the video and ask students to describe. Again, prediction can be used. What will happen after the scene. I can share an e-story. For examples of e-stories, you can Google 1 in 8 million. This is a project made by New York Times, and they show through pictures and through voice recording, they show stories, personal stories of people who live in New York. So to understand what an e-story is, you can find this 1 in 8 million and have a look at different stories. We can debate the video. Some videos for debate are available at TrueTube Co. UK, and there are videos about traditions of different religions, Christian religions, Muslim people, and videos about different holidays. They are available in forms of lesson plans as well. Prediction activity, I mentioned that. Stop and ask students to predict what will happen next. As a vocabulary building activity, we can list important words from a video and have students circle or order them as they watch the video. Then these words can be used as cues to retell. Traveling around Russia, so we can travel around Russia and around the world with videos now, not without leaving the classroom. We can develop listening skills. It can be listening comprehension activity with video. We can again talk about differences and similarities, compare and contrast, and of course video projects. Now I would like to overview the webinars, and I will finish and let some speakers that are present today as participants to introduce themselves. So in December we have webinars with Charles Braithwaite, using web conferencing to enhance the learning of language and culture. On December 15th we have Andy Noonan. Andy, are you here still? I hope you're here with us, and you can introduce yourself and speak a little bit about your webinar, Teaching Culture, 2 frameworks for raising cultural awareness. December 20th will be devoted to critical thinking and creative thinking skills. Tony Hall, former English language fellow from Moscow, and Tony visited Tula several times. We still remember Tony with gratitude and with respect for her wonderful seminars and workshops in Tula State Lefkowsko Pedagogical University. Hi, Tony. In January, we'll have Zuriat Murtazova, British Council book author. She will speak about Project Tolerance Through Languages. Then we'll have Dr. Rob Denning on January 17th with a webinar Lesson Development. Елена Solovova, Teaching to Meet New Education Standards. And we will have Evgeny Kalyadin, who will speak about iBooks author platform for developing lessons and teaching materials for iPad. So I hope now my moderator will help other speakers to start broadcasting. Tony, Andy.
Hi, everybody. I don't know. I can see myself. Can you see me? And can you hear me by any chance? Hello? This is Tony Hull. Oh, wow. I'm seeing lots of yeses. I'm assuming you're saying yes to me. Hi, everybody. I see so many familiar names and a lot that I don't know if I know you, but perhaps I've seen you in one of my workshops, which I cannot begin to tell you how much I miss seeing all of my wonderful friends in Russia and seeing you and being with you and learning so much from you. Hi, everybody. I think people can hear me, but not everybody. I see some people can, so that's great. I'll be with you in about 3 weeks to talk about critical thinking. If you've been to one of my critical thinking workshops in the last couple of years, it will be familiar, but I'm going to make a point of adding some new materials. So if you have been to my critical thinking workshop, please come back. Hopefully I'll have a few new ideas or at least new materials for you. I'm not sure my ideas are new, but my materials hopefully will be new and useful for you. So it'll be about critical thinking, a little bit about Bloom's taxonomy, because how can you deal with critical thinking without refreshing your thought and your thinking about that? But mostly creating opportunities for our students to stretch their minds, to be challenged, to see beyond the obvious, beyond their own preconceptions, and to see the world from multiple perspectives. That's the objective of my workshop. And I'm looking forward to doing it with you all here on this wonderful series. So I'll turn it back to Nastya. It's just wonderful to see you all. Bye-bye.
And thank you so much once again, and see you all next Saturday on December the 6th. Bye.